Tonight, KeyTac is back. U.S. Steel announces a restart date for the mine idled by the pandemic.
Plus, records smashed. Wisconsin saw an unprecedented amount of voters in a very close presidential election.
And have you been stressed out by the election? Well, experts say you are not alone. How you can manage it while results slowly file in.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. Hundreds of workers at the Keewatin Taconite mine will soon be headed back to work after months of being laid off.
According to Dan Pierce, KeyTac's union president, the company said it plans to begin recalling union members back to work as soon as tonight. In a statement, U.S. Steel officials said they are encouraged by the increase in demand for their products and believe restarting KeyTac will help better support their customers. The company expects to fill around 400 positions as part of the restart. KeyTac originally shut down in May due to impacts on demand amid the pandemic. Tonight, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz shared a statement saying this is a good day for the Iron Range. He says he's excited to see Minnesotans get back to work.
And Dave's here for our first look at the weather tonight. Dave, another pleasant day out there today.
Yeah, pleasantly warm, even though it was a little bit cooler than... We'll talk about today's high temps, which range from 51 in International Falls to 64 degrees down towards Hayward, and as warm as 65 around Watersmeet. Again, taken down a little bit today by a cold front, but we're going to resurge again tomorrow as high pressure continues to dominate us. It should be sunny on Friday and back towards 70 for a few towns, but into the weekend, clouds will build in and a shower chance will return too. Eyeing up now the day planner for Friday. Yeah, pretty warm, all right. Even here in the Twin Ports, we'll top out around 65. The normal high is only 42. Eventually, reality will return. Maybe not for the weekend, but once we get into the work week, the warm spell goes away and a cold snap comes to call. And I'll tell you all about that coming up in just a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Early numbers show Wisconsin has broken records when it comes to voter turnout.
CBS3's Emma Quinn joins us live in Superior with the details on those numbers. Emma, it sounds like Wisconsinites really came out to vote this election.
Yeah, Kristen, while the Wisconsin Election Commission hasn't released those final results as they are waiting for the canvassing process to finish up, they did release some preliminary numbers tonight, and 3.2 million voters here in Wisconsin participated in this election this week, and that breaks the record from 2012 when 3 million Wisconsinites voted in that presidential election. Now, Wisconsin has more than 4 million people who are old enough to vote. This means 72% of all eligible voters cast a ballot this year. That number also comes close to a record. In 2004, Wisconsin saw 73% of eligible voters take part in the election. As far as absentee ballots this year, almost 2 million voters that was cast. And Wisconsin saw roughly 10,000 people apply for same-day voter registration. Now, despite these numbers, Election Commission officials say they have received many questions from voters about why their ballot status on the My Vote Wisconsin website doesn't reflect their ballot was counted yet. And they want to remind all voters and assure them that updating the electronic systems takes time.
As allowed by state law, it can take up to 45 days for local clerks to record paper registrations into the electronic system. So please do not worry if you don't see your participation recorded right away.
And again, these numbers are all preliminary as the canvassing process is still underway. Now, despite the Trump campaign's claim to calling a recount here in Wisconsin, Wisconsin election officials say they have not received that request. They say, in fact, that request cannot be filed until the canvassing process is complete, which, again, that could take a couple more weeks, but they are prepared should they get that request.
Well, Emma, should that recount end up happening, who would be responsible for counting all of those ballots again?
Kristen, Wisconsin election officials say the 72 counties here in Wisconsin would be responsible for the recount, and it's up to them whether they want to count those ballots by mail or by hand or put them through the voting machine.
Emma Quinn in Superior for us tonight. Thanks, Emma.
Well, today, as the dust of the election settles, Michigan's governor is calling for unity. At a news conference today, Democratic Governor Gretchen Whitmer discussed the record-breaking amount of votes the state saw this year. More than 5.5 million people voted in Michigan's presidential election, the most ever and the highest percentage of voting age residents to cast a ballot in 60 years. The only general election in the past 72 years with a larger turnout was 1960. Now the governor is urging folks to come together.
Democracy is a team sport, and here in Michigan, we worked hard to ensure that the outcome of the election was determined by the will of the people of our great state. And the people have spoken. And with the election behind us, now is the time for us to find common ground and come together.
Governor Whitmer also said fighting the coronavirus must be a team sport as well, and it's time for both the state and country to find common ground.
New numbers in a very tight Minnesota House race on the Iron Range show a new candidate on top. Representative Julie Sandstead, a DFLer, is now leading that race for the District 6A seat. But only 90 votes separate her from her Republican challenger, Rob Farnsworth. Until this afternoon, Farnsworth was ahead by just 47 votes. The change comes after more absentee ballots were processed today. We're told they will still be counting ballots through Tuesday. As it stands right now, the slim margin is still within the state's threshold for an automatic recount. Hundreds of demonstrators were arrested last night after marching onto an interstate in Minneapolis. Law enforcement officers arrested more than 646 people protesting President Trump's threats to challenge the results of Tuesday's unsettled election. They were also protesting a variety of social injustices. Officers in riot gear surrounded the crowd. Officials say no force or chemicals were used. A section of Interstate 94 was closed while officers arrested the demonstrators one by one.
People across the country are at the edge of their seats waiting to hear who will lead our country next. But experts say that unknown can lead to other things like anxiety, depression, and feeling overwhelmed. CBS 3's Leanne Valdez shares insight on what we can do to cope with election anxiety as we await the results.
There's no question 2020 has been a challenging year, and with the current political climate, anxiety and stress are at an all-time high.
People are losing a lot of sleep. Kids are losing a lot of sleep.
According to a survey from the American Psychological Association, 68% of American adults say the election stressed them out, and that's up from 52% back in 2016. Essentia Health therapist Sigurd Haller says there are things you can do to cope with election anxiety. Number one is to turn everything off now and again.
Put the electronics down, turn off the news, focus on something, whether it be an activity or you're just lighting a candle or maybe your food.
Number two is to get physical.
Exercise is a really good distraction, plus you're being active, gets your mind off of it. So just anything, riding a bike, walking, going for a walk with a friend and making an effort not to talk about politics.
Haller says another big one is getting enough sleep.
Sleep is super important because, with anxiety and stress, we have those in our lives, and then now you add in the current political situation.
And to keep in mind, everyone's voted, so it's now out of your control.
Focus on those things that you can control, and you can control what you do. And again, that's you taking care of yourself. The big part of a lot of the politics right now is out of our local hands, and it's out of our hands personally.
If you'd like more information on how to cope with election stress, you can head to our website.
Minnesota has reported a record high COVID-19 number of cases for the third straight day. The Minnesota Department of Health reported nearly 3,400 new coronavirus cases and 25 deaths today. The 7-day rolling average of daily new cases in Minnesota has nearly doubled in the past 2 weeks at more than 3,000.
Meanwhile, Itasca County has taken a sharp turn for the worse in its fight against COVID. That's according to county health officials who say the virus is spreading in every city and township. The county confirmed 144 cases in the last week and 244 cases in the past 2 weeks. The total case count as of today is 954. 18 people have died. The case rate per 10,000 residents is now more than 54. The county is scaling back contact tracing to focus their efforts on schools, facilities, work sites, and sports teams.
Willow River is moving to distance learning as 5 new COVID-19 cases have been reported at the school. There will be no classes tomorrow, and distance learning starts on Tuesday. The district is asking families to put a cooler at the end of their driveway where the school can drop off food and homework.
The Duluth Police Department says it's feeling the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement, DPD reps say their first priority is health and safety. They say given their work, officers are more at risk of catching COVID. The department says they're working to limit the spread. When asked, the department said it wouldn't disclose the number of positive cases they've experienced. They did say it hasn't impacted their normal daily staffing.
A Minnesota judge says he will not move the trial of four former Minneapolis police officers charged in George Floyd's death. The judge also ruled that all 4 officers involved would be tried together. The Hennepin County judge made that ruling after defense attorneys argued that pretrial publicity had made it impossible for the 4 men to get a fair trial. The judge argued moving the trial away from Minneapolis to less diverse areas of the state likely would have affected the makeup of the jury.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, the Duluth Chamber of Commerce celebrated a milestone anniversary today. We'll have more details after the break.
Normal high temp is 42. Today we made it to 60 at the head of the lakes. 70 is the record, and we could get close to that tomorrow again. How long will the warm spell last? Well, at least one more day, but there is an expiration date to look at. I'll show it to you right after our break.
Live, local, CBS 3 News at 6 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live, local, CBS 3.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, right here.
Weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today at Medical Insight, Essentia Health physical therapist Jared Eichhoff discusses blood flow restriction therapy, which stimulates muscle growth and strength gain by reducing oxygen delivery to muscle cells.
We more or less put a cuff either on the arm or the leg, and what it does is it pumps up and restricts blood to and from the limb, and you just work out with that on. We get strength benefits and muscle mass gains sooner in the rehab process with less weight. So in essence, a patient doesn't need to lift as much weight when they have the cuff on to get the same benefits as if they were lifting heavy. You can lift 40 pounds and get the same benefit as lifting 200 pounds without the cuff on.
Blood flow restriction therapy is versatile. It can be used by athletes looking to supplement their training or by post-surgical patients who want to get stronger faster while still respecting the rehab process.
So somebody with a knee replacement, they can come in, the 3 or 4 days after their knee replacement, and the leg really doesn't want to work that well, doesn't want to push against heavy weight, they don't like walking, squatting, things like that. We can put that cuff on and still do a really light exercise, and they're getting that much more benefit. We also see a lot of non-surgical patients as well, people who maybe have torn a rotator cuff muscle in their shoulder but don't want to have surgery. We can use this cuff and they can still lift really light weight to not stress the shoulder but get all the benefits of lifting heavy. Somebody with an ACL reconstruction, from that day that they start therapy to the day they can go back to sport, we're just shortening that time frame up significantly by using this.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medicalinsight.
I chose the Heritage Window and Door because of their reputation and because of their renewal Anderson windows that they have. And their workmanship was fantastic.
I'm so impressed.
Your home is your largest investment. Don't waste your money on cheaper windows. These are the best. It's my money, and I'm going to spend it where it's going to do me the best good, and it happened to be Heritage Window and Door.
They really know how to treat a customer.
This has been an excellent experience.
I need a kidney transplant.
I have 2 kidneys, right?
Yeah.
Why do I need 2?
You don't?
Well, then guess who's getting a kidney? There's never been friends like us. Kidney buddies for life. There's never been friends like us.
CBS 3 News is brought to you by Fond du Luth Casino. CBS 3 Weather is brought to you by Heritage Window and Door. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
We've had a warm spell for all week here now, and temperatures have been into the 70s for a few towns, but up north, it hasn't been quite that warm, and the lakes that have already tried to ice over are still holding on to their ice. This picture comes from Upper McDougall Lake, which is just outside of Isabella up north, in between Ely and Isabella. Mary Jo Furtman took this picture showing the snow gone on the shoreline, but the lake itself still holding on to its ice. We do have another couple of days worth of warm temperatures coming our way, so maybe this ice will retreat a little bit more before it starts to come back again on Tuesday. That's when our warm spell will end, and we'll go from warmer than normal to cooler than normal, at least for a couple of days. Now, let's take a look at what's going on right now at the airport in Duluth. Our current conditions include a temperature reading of 53, relative humidity 50%, south-southeast winds running 5 miles per hour, and the air pressure still on the high side at 1,017 millibars, or 30.03 inches of mercury. High pressure has dominated the upper Midwest and much of the U.S., frankly, for the last week, and that extrasolar radiation and that southerly wind, two of the elements that have brought us warmer than normal temperatures, including today, even though a cold front took us down a little bit compared to yesterday. And right now we have 45 as an average here in the Upper Peninsula, going from 44 in Watersmeet to 46 in Ironwood. 43 is the current temp for Ashland. 48 in Hayward, 54 for Solon Springs, and 48 in Superior. Low 50s towards Moose Lake, and mid 40s to upper 40s along the North Shore. 50 for Ely, upper 40s towards Hibbing, and same deal going on International Falls. Low temps tonight should go from the upper 30s to the lower 40s as our warm spell does indeed continue. And our Doppler map right now shows that clouds are trying to push into the area overnight tonight, as lower pressure from the west tries to take over the region. But I think tomorrow the high pressure will dominate once again, flex its muscles for perhaps one more day, and we get sunshine and those warmer than normal conditions. Again, tomorrow some towns could go closer to 70. But as that low tries to get into our area after we get through Friday here, it's going to start increasing the clouds, and those clouds, as they get thicker on Saturday, could lead to some rain showers late on Sunday. And then by Monday and Tuesday, the backside of the low brings in a rain and snow mix, which right now doesn't look like it's going to try to stick. But if that plan changes, we will, of course, show you the latest forecast. Oh, there's the latest forecast now. Minnesota tonight, we are looking at low temps from 39 to 47. Wisconsin, Michigan, low temps 42 to 45. For tomorrow, one more sunny day. Wisconsin, Michigan, high temp 67 to 72. Minnesota, high temp 60 to 70, mostly sunny sky. And with the extended forecast, it stays warmer than normal through Monday, really, since the normal is 42. But once we start to thicken up the clouds, we start to get precip chances Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And once that low pressure system starts to fade away, it pulls down cool Canadian air, Tony, and we drop into the 30s for our highs. So we'll go from warmer than normal for a week to cooler than normal for at least 3 days.
A couple more days for those non-ice fishers and non-hunters to enjoy, huh?
Yeah, indeed.
Thanks, Dave.
Duluth's Chamber of Commerce celebrated its 150th anniversary today. The virtual celebration included awards recognizing board members and highlighting achievements throughout the especially tough year for businesses during the pandemic. Duluth Mayor Emily Larson spoke, calling for unity during this time of uncertainty.
In this community, we will always have dialogue. We will always have each other. We will always have this beautiful lake. We will always have this incredible city that we work in.
The virtual celebration saw more than 400 people join in on the festivities.
Duluth's Goodwill is partnering with Chum to make sure the area's most vulnerable residents are taken care of as we enter the season of giving. The pandemic has had a severe impact on clothing distribution for Duluth homeless and low-income families. To help offset the increased need, the group Surviving COVID-19 has brought together Goodwill and Chum for a charitable partnership. The partnership will provide residents in need with clothing vouchers that are redeemable at Goodwill locations across the neighborhood. You can submit a voucher request from Chum directly. You can find more information on how to donate to this initiative on our website, CBS3Duluth.com.
It's been 2 years since a Lake Elmo man disappeared without a trace while hunting in the Nemadji Forest. Lee Peltier, his family, has been looking for answers ever since, but hasn't found anything. Lee's daughter, Megan, says they will continue their search of the forest this weekend. She's also asking other hunters to keep an eye out for anything out of the ordinary.
Maybe just even on the lookout for anything colorful that sticks out to you in the woods, or just be aware of, you know, if you're stumbling upon anything under your feet. Just to know that something's out there. And any clue we can get would be amazing.
If you have any information, please contact the Pine County Sheriff's Office.
Coming up in sports, COVID forces a number of high school football seasons to come to an end. Kelly has all the details you need to know coming right up.
Dominate any terrain on a Polaris snowmobile from Duluth Lawn and Sports.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
What do you get when you add care from Essentia Health and coverage from UCare? Essentia Care, now available for a more affordable price. Essentia Care's Medicare Advantage plans have premiums that start at $0 per month in select counties. You'll be able to see your Essentia Health provider at our 15 hospitals and 71 clinics. Plus, Essentia Care plans allow you the freedom to see any provider who accepts Medicare. Compare and shop plans at ucare.org/EssentiaCare.
At Super One Foods, we're always looking for new talent to join our 5-star service team. We are a growing family-owned company that provides opportunities to learn new skills and enhance your working knowledge while serving your friends and neighbors. From flexible scheduling and variety in jobs to competitive wages and exceptional benefits, Super One Foods offers an excellent environment to grow both personally and professionally and can provide you with the foundation for career advancement in the communities we serve. Come join our team, Super One Foods. Jobs right in your neighborhood.
Support our local Duluth restaurants and treat yourself. Get a $5 bonus gift card with every $25 gift card purchased. November 8th through the 15th. See our expanded list of wonderful local restaurants at downtownduluth.com.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's check in with meteorologist Caitlin Moffitt this morning.
And the below average trend
Thanks so much for joining us. So wake up with us starting at 5 a.m.
Watch Caitlin and Jenna in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m. on CBS3.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. Hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS3.
High school football teams in Wisconsin have finally reached the 7th and final weeks of their regular season, but unfortunately the Hayward football team has learned that they will not be playing tomorrow night. They were scheduled to host Merrill. However, an official from the Blue Jays has confirmed that the game has been canceled due to COVID-19 concerns. The Hurricanes currently sit at 1-5 and will not be participating in the WIAA postseason, so their football season has come to an end. And in Minnesota, there has been a schedule shakeup today as well. The Moose Lake Willow River football team has called off their final 2 games of the season against Pine City and Mora due to what may have been a potential COVID-19 exposure. We have confirmed that team, coaches, players, and managers are all currently under quarantine until November 14th, which is 1 day after their last scheduled contest. Duluth-Denfeld is in a similar position. The Hunters were forced to back out of their game against Proctor tomorrow as they wait for a COVID-19 test result. There was a potential exposure on the team. The Denfeld Hunters are not calling off their season as of now. They are currently searching for a Week 6 game if they remain healthy and test negative. So as a result, Proctor has shifted their schedule around. The Rails will now be playing Duluth East for the 2nd straight week. The Greyhounds were supposed to host North Branch earlier this week, but that game has been canceled. The WCHA regular season schedule and return to play plan is expected to drop tomorrow, meaning UMD women's hockey will finally have their eyes on games and dates. The downtime hasn't stopped their trio of leaders, Captain Ashton Bell and alternate captains Kenzie Revering and Anna Klein, from stepping up as leaders.
How have each of you grown as leaders in this time?
I've definitely had to get more vulnerable with just being on Zoom and learning different ways to communicate with the team when not being together.
I would say the communication part is the biggest, not seeing everybody, trying to hold everybody accountable with working out and being ready. So I think just communication and building relationships when you're not just face to face and with each other every day.
The holding people accountable stuff and kind of just talking with each other all the time.
You know, it's been 6 months. You had to captain this ship in this weird time, probably the weirdest time you've ever been a college athlete or an athlete in your life. What has that been like?
Captain's practices, it was definitely extended this year, so we had to be the captains and the coaches on the ice, so that was a cool experience.
Yeah, it's tough being in the leadership role for the first time and then not seeing your team for however long, and then having all these things to do, and you're I haven't even been the captain with my team on the ice or anything yet, but you're doing all these things.
Yeah, even the team bonding stuff, we're used to coaches doing that, and we kind of had to go and take the lead on that stuff, but it was a good learning experience, and it can definitely be used throughout the season, not having to depend only on the coaches, since we know that we can all step into these roles.
And coming up tonight at 10, how those 3 have used their voices to lead the charge for Black Lives Matter and voting advocacy. You're not going to want to miss that. We'll have more of that back tonight here at 10. For now, Kristen and Tony, I'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Kelly. Also tonight on the CBS3 News at 10, we take a look at Superior Schools and the challenges they face in moving to distance learning.
And Dave's here to give us our final look at the weather. Dave, a little bit more warm weather on tap.
Yeah, sunny and warm for our Friday, then cloudy and warm on Saturday, and then a descent in temperatures after that. So a quick look at our extended forecast shows 65 Friday, 60 Saturday, little rebound Sunday, and into the 50s Monday, and we drop into the 30s come Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So the long, warm ride of this week will fade away, and reality will return and go even colder than normal, at least for a couple of days.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again at 10 o'clock.